Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Super good. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
I've got a video, but I'm gonna be off for a little bit, so I'm
Okay.
gonna bounce in and back. Thanks, Micah.
Oh, well, I'm Michelle. I
Michelle.
need to change that. Hold on. Rename. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Michelle. Good evening.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, there's a Chris on, but no last name. Was it? Dan Pickens, you old son of a gun.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Just real tired.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Beckmeyer.
I say go play golf in 100-degree weather.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. Michelle, can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
I can.
Making sure it's working. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We've got two meetings happening at once right now, so
I know you're busy, but in the next day or two, three, I need to talk for a second.
sure.
We've had a county clerk put in a resignation and it'll be effective when she's on the ballot, so yay,
Fun.
yeah.
I love that for you.
I'll get hold of you. I would say when you're not busy, but you won't be not before long.
Boucher.
I see Josh is out there, my interesting friend from the past.
Interesting.
Good to see you. Well, I guess hear you, Dan.
I was, I don't know if Matt is out there. I told him I need to change places with you so I can sit right next to Matt at SD16.
I know what happened. What's SD28? That's on the other side of the table.
No, we're exactly in the middle of the state.
Well, I know, but you're on the other side of the table.
Well, I know, but if I swap with you, I'm not on the other side of the table.
Oh no.
You can do that, Josh. Come on.
Uh, I'm
What's
good to
all
go,
this
man.
gray hair you got on? You got gray hair
I know,
left and right.
right?
I'm not turning my camera on because I'm going bald. One of these days we'll let y'all swamp people from Harris move up to Paradise.
Oh, that's it. That's what I know so far. What are you doing in there, Dave? Right. We're doing a.
Hey,
See,
Daniel.
John's out there, my favorite neighbor to the west. There you are, John.
Out here in God's country.
60 miles down the road.
My speaker says I have headphones on. Can you hear me? Daniel,
Yep.
can you hear me? Okay, good.
Good evening. A quick question. Is there a lot of background noise when I unmute?
No.
No.
You're in the White House. Love it.
I was gonna say Craig wins the background contest.
Yeah. You mean my lake view isn't better?
I'm actually sitting in an urban air. The kids are playing. So
Oh my
Can you-
goodness.
Can
I'm surprised
y'all
it's not.
hear- can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
This is Susan.
Yes.
Hi, Susan.
Hi. I'm probably gonna have to keep things on mute as much as possible because we've got thunder.
Yeah, if everybody can mute, and then we got 31 people, so I think it's probably best to I don't know Zoom. Do they have like a hand waving thing like Teams has?
Yes. So if you go to React, click on that, you can raise your hand, or you can just drop it in the chat.
Yeah, if you do
Mine's
React,
up
that
right now.
then I can call instead of just speaking up. But okay, thanks everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. Rachel's on YouTube taking minutes, so we have a record of what's going on. And I didn't want to take too much of your time today, but I wanted to get together, take as much time as you guys need, especially to number one, talk about the temporary and permanent rules committee rules. And then talk about the proposed supplemental rules. I did say something or send something around, which was the supplemental committee rules, patterned largely after what Mark did last year, trying to prioritize the rules that are going to have the most discussion. And secondly, just floated some proposed supplemental rules. I talked with some of you about whether you like some of the changes that were proposed in there. If you didn't, we're going to iron it out. But I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on what was proposed, if there's anything else that we need to be aware of and start talking about at the convention. But first order of business, I wanted to bring up the supplemental committee rules, which I sent you all, and get your thoughts and discussion as to what was proposed, if you have any other ideas or suggestions, so that if there's any areas of consensus, we can figure it out in the call and get through that quickly on the first day when we get there on Monday. Are there any thoughts on the supplemental committee rules? Yes, Brandon.
Good evening, Chairman, and thank you to the rest of the committee members on here. Had a few pretty much non-substantive things in there. Like in Rule 12, it mentions 13A, but I think it's supposed to be 12A, unless
No.
deceived me.
Sorry.
If not 12, yeah, that's a typo.
Okay. And then,
Is everyone
I
good with
think-
me just making that change when I don't think there's gonna be any objection, correct? Any objection? No. Okay.
The motion was to change 13A to 12A.
We're not doing a motion.
Oh,
I'm just doing discussion right now. When we get there, we're gonna get
I just
discussion.
I
If
didn't hear
there's
what
any
he-
areas of disagreement, then we're going to figure out what votes we have, and then we'll run through them really quick.
but that was what he said, was to change at the bottom of that section
Yeah.
12 to 12A.
It was a clerical error at the bottom of
Yeah.
section 12. It refers to the rule within. So
Okay. I glitched out there for a second. I didn't hear what he said. Thank you.
yeah, Andrew. Andrew Eller.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're
Okay.
discussing the draft 2026 convention rules.
No, the committee supplemental
rules.
committee rules.
The committee rules. Yeah, I want to make sure. Okay. Okay.
And then, I mean, just to run through the general rules, I put in the following order: Rule 44 revisions, Rule 8 revisions. Rule 8 because the CEC rules obviously are a significant portion of this, and will likely have some suggested changes. Rule 44 up front, since I know that's a big focus of yours, and I want to make sure you get heard on it, and you have all the time you need to deal with Rule 44. After that, Mark's rules had Rule 46. I don't think that's going to be as huge of an area of discussion, but it's obviously a focus. But obviously, Rule 3, we're taking it up in reverse sequential order. So Rule 46 would be next, and then we would go in reverse order. If there are any other rules which you believe are going to be a focus that should be on that list, let me know. I know you guys had talked about Rule 1. If you would like to take that up first, let me know. I mean, we can always do it during committee, out of order, just with a committee vote. But if you want to put it in the supplemental rules, would love to hear your thoughts on that first section. Gene.
Yeah, can you all hear me? I hope. Okay. Yeah, I had suggested that we might need to actually include some definitions, like what does it mean to be a member of the RPT? What's it mean to be a Republican candidate in Texas? And I think those are essential definitions that don't currently exist in order to deal with rules 44, 46. And that would be in Rule 1. But that discussion would have to, I think, be part of it could happen in the Rule 44 discussion and pen in changes that would go to Rule 1 later, however we want to handle it.
Yeah, you were the one who sent me the Rule 44 changes where you had some defined terms in there.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think taking up Rule 1 separately is necessarily needed. I think it would come if you're going to use a defined term in whatever rule section we're taking up. We can handle it as a part of that. Okay, Brandon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Brandon Moore, SD21. On the thought of order of how we want to address everything, I kind of had a reverse view on it. I thought we should take everything in sequential order, especially given the fact that the most attention seems to be at those last few rules, well, 8, and then those last few rules, 43 and 44 is what I've been hearing about the most. And the thinking on that is kind of like you got to eat your vegetables before you can eat your pudding and whatnot. Just as a time management thing, I would hate to see us spend so much time on those rules that are getting a lot of attention that we don't have enough time to address the mundane. So just my 2 cents on that and what my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay. like I said, I don't want to take a vote on it now, but that can be an area up front when we deal with the supplemental rules. If you want, just make a motion. We'll have a vote on it quickly. I'll put that in my notes as an area of contention. The idea with doing it in reverse order is twofold. One, when people are waiting for an inevitable discussion on a rule like Rule 44, they're getting all ready emotionally. And it's good to get that taken care of ahead of time so that people know they're going to be heard on it and they don't think the clock's going to run out. The deal you come with is if you get bogged down in some of the earlier rules, some people who are opposed to Rule 44 changes might try to delay things. The people who want to see Rule 44 taken up might try to undo that, but also will be contentious when we're dealing with the other rules, which isn't really needed. I think the way Mark did it was pretty prudent. David, or I'm sorry, Justin. I got Justin first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the things that is possible, and I intend to introduce one, is an entirely new rule. Topically, I think I've titled it 3A, but it would be, to the extent we may have entirely new rules, unless it's your preference just to add, irrespective of the topic, just add it at the end as 47 and so forth, or whatever the last rule number is. So I just would be curious, one, when you want us to send that to you. Two, is that something you would prefer to categorize and number so that it's taken up in an appropriate and meaningful order? And three, if it is reverse order, then all of a sudden I'm going to find a way to make it closer to 33 than 3 if we're doing it in reverse order. And I know we're not here to play that game. So I just wanted to get some input on that issue.
Have any of you guys who've been on the rules in the past, do you remember how you guys took that up?
I mean, 40, this will be my fourth. I can't remember that. I mean, because there's like an 8A, right? And that was put in there because there's an 8. And that was put in there because it topically mattered. I think it was just sort of, it used to be, when I remember completely new rules, we just went from 1 to the end. Obviously, the hot button issues are numbered numerically higher typically, and so Mark did do that, and I think that worked out well as far as getting to the meat and potatoes. But again, I don't want to use gamesmanship to number my proposed rule in a way that gets it considered with or without any favor that the committee may deem necessary. So I don't have a preference. I think in the past we just submitted it and plugged it in when the discussion was right, which I'm fine with, as long as we have a discussion about it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you get through all of them, I just didn't want to leave the contentious ones till the end, just so people don't think we won't get to the end of them. I think the debate limits take care of that. When you're talking about no more than 10 minutes per motion, you're not talking about per rule, you're talking about per motion. Obviously, there'll be amendments, 10 minutes, amendments to amendments, 10 minutes. But the need to, or at least the perceived need to chub or delay things is eliminated once you take those more contentious rules up front, I think. And if not, we can always just vote to, we can vote to end debate. We can vote to call a question. We can vote to take things out of order.
Do you want those submitted to you?
If you could, was it something that was passed by the county party?
No, it literally is seeking to more closely mirror eligibility to serve on CECs and SRACs to prohibit people who are convicted of violent felonies from serving. It is an issue that has come up in my senatorial district, but from serving as elected members, I don't want to argue the motion, but that's the top, or the rule. Yeah. That's the topic of it. So eligibility is just like one. Eligibility is in the top section of our rules.
Yeah, if you guys can send me anything you're willing to send me ahead of time just so I can
Sure.
help structure argument better and plan, that would be helpful.
I'll send it your way and just trust you to bring it up when you want.
No, I mean, bring it up. I just, when we're talking about the supplemental committee rules, we'll talk about the order. It's just, if you can submit it to me early, that'd be great, just so I can get an idea as to how much time we have, plan better, move things along when we need to. But
Mr. Chairman, I apologize for not using the hand raise. This is maybe an extraordinary interrupting motion. We apparently have several committee members in the waiting room waiting to be allowed in.
Okay. Let me just text Michelle. Okay, David.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to bring up, I believe there's some issues with Rule 32. I've definitely had it raised by my constituents, so I'd like to give it some consideration to move up in the agenda, either by a vote of the body or whatever. It's something dealing with the privacy of the delegate information, and there were some issues with that with regards to who that ought to be available to. And I will have some language that I would be glad to submit, but would like to see it moved up because I think there's some wide interest in that. And it being at 32, it's well down the list.
Something different from the SREC rule that was just passed?
No, more or less, we need to talk about what the SREC passed and then include it in the rules and but it's along that same area. I think that was a significant enough issue that it ought to have some more priority. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Andrew.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Andy Eller, SD 24. I just wondering if there is any thing in here with rules where members of other committees, for instance, if somebody's on the LP or platform, last time it was very hard for people to get over to testify on what they wanted to testify on, because when we're in the middle of testimony, for instance, maybe they're in the middle of something where they can't leave. And I didn't know if there was a way to create a committee rule that I don't want to say gives deference to, but allows them to, jump in when they can, if they're actually on another committee.
Oh, you're talking about other committee members that want to testify?
Yes, like somebody who's on the LP committee or somebody who's on the platform committee who would want to testify on a rule.
Yeah, that's more logistical. I think we treat it the same way as when people want to speak at SREC meetings. You find that you try to accommodate as much as possible within reason and let them speak. I don't know if you need a rule specifically for that. I mean, if you want, we can vote on one, but I don't really think it's necessary.
No, and I'm fine with that. I just wanted to bring that up because it did actually come up in the LP committee, and I know several people on the platform have also brought it up that they would like to be able to testify in other committees, and they wanted to make sure they would be given that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to set aside time for testimony, but if there's obviously issues with other people who are taking the time out of their week to serve on other committees, we want to accommodate it as much as possible. Dr. Morris, you're muted.
There we go. Hi, Chairman. I'm going to bring up some questions about Rule 42. And can I just go ahead and send those to you directly?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. And then make sure even when you send it to me, bring a copy, paper copy, so you can give to the secretary. I don't know who the secretary is going to be yet, but we're hiring secretaries.
Okay, so to our meeting on Monday, bring in a paper copy.
Yeah, if you can send me a copy and then bring in a paper copy, so as not to trust me with computers.
Okay.
Somehow getting it at the meeting, that'd be great.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay. Did Chris ever get on? Chris Bird? Is he on?
Chris Bird's in the waiting room.
He's still in the waiting room? Okay.
There are 3 in the waiting room, according to Signal.
Yeah, 2 are not, I think, are non-committee members.
Randall Dunning is one of them. He
Oh, is he in there too?
yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Amy Super.
Brenda.
Sorry.
Hey, Chairman, it's Brenda Platt with SD12. We were talking about the proposed supplemental rules, and I had a question on rule number 12D, the last sentence. It says the ballots shall be retained at RPT headquarters. Is there any way we could put in there the ballot shall be securely locked up?
Oh, you're
and
talking about convention rules, right?
the right under number 12, procedures for adoption of platform resolution committee and legislative priority committee
We're talking
reports.
about committee rules.
Yeah, let's hold that for now, and then
On the
we'll just
proposed
talk about the
supplemental
committee
rules?
rules.
Okay.
No, we're talking about supplemental committee rules rather than convention rules.
Okay.
Not even committee.
Okay. So getting past that first section, in terms of general requirements, motions being presented to the chair and then seconded before discussion begins, standard. Member making the motion, first opportunity to speak. Debate on motions will be allowed without limit, alternating between those for and against the motion, except that no motion may use more than 10 minutes unless extended by the committee. Friendly amendments are permitted. So Mark had 30 minutes for motions on, this was in 2024, for motions on particularly contentious rules. Keep in mind the 10 minutes for motions. So you still may have multiple amendments pertaining to a particular rule, each of which will get 10 minutes. I think when you do 30 minutes, you start to get a little long. Because if you're talking about Rule 44, you'd have an amendment, and then you might have an amendment to the amendment, which tacks on 10 minutes. So I can't see where more than 10 minutes would be needed. That's what we use in the legislature. And if we need to extend it, if like there's a good Rule 44 debate or someone takes the first 10 minutes and there's no opposing argument that got the opportunity, I think everybody can accommodate by extending it. And of course, the majority voted rule. So I put 10 minutes in there. Hopefully everyone's okay with that. Andy?
Yeah, just real quick. So the motion to call the question would still be in order, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to extend debate longer than people want to sit there and listen to it. So yeah,
Well,
I would encourage you to call the question. If we don't have a reasonable amount of debate, I won't entertain the motion to call the question. Or if I get the feeling that people are still very engaged and want to be heard, and there's other ideas, that I won't entertain the motion. But yeah, I would encourage you to use that. And that's in Rule 9. A previous question motion is also allowed. Calling the question and also a previous question when we're just tired of talking about amendments and we think we have it reasonably structured. Then we could do temporary and permanent committees can enter into formal work sessions. Might do this with the particular rules proposed by the county parties, divide them up and enter into temporary or formal work sessions at some point during day 2 or day 3. Committee editing committee, this has been in there in the past, make non-substantive changes related to grammar, spelling, and formatting. And then this Rule 12, I wasn't there when it was debated. I left it in because it was in there last year. Don't have any thoughts, but if anyone does, love to hear them. Brandon.
Yeah, Chairman, I'll touch on that one in just a second. I actually wanted to see if I could touch back on Rule 7, friendly amendments. My understanding is that basically it's an amendment that still requires either unanimous consent or majority vote. It's not just that the original motion mover and the amendment mover can't do it unilaterally, correct? It still requires unanimous consent or majority vote?
Well, if it was a technical friendly amendment, it would not. The amendment mover would be able to permit an amendment to his amendment through a friendly amendment.
Okay.
If there were no friendly amendments allowed, you would actually need a majority vote. I mean, the plus side is, I mean, the plus side is, you know, formatting changes. Somebody puts something as Rule 47 and we need to move it to Rule 3, for example. Changes in wording can be dealt with very quickly. Friendly voting on amendments that would otherwise be friendly might take more time, but also, you know, the person proposing the amendment has much more power if he's able to allow friendly amendments. I mean, that's up to you guys. We can do either.
Okay. All right. And
by the way, what I might do is I think the way we do it is proposing. I'll try to get these based on your comments into a form that I think will be reasonably agreeable to everybody. And then if there's any changes, we can run through them quickly and vote on them.
Sounds good. Thanks.
And then last two, 13 and 14. I don't think those are controversial at all. Rules for delegates, alternates, testimony by a delegate or alternate on an amendment shall be in person, limited to 3 minutes in the temporary committee, 2 minutes in the permanent committee, unless extended at the discretion of the chair or majority vote. No testifier will testify more than once until all delegates wishing to testify during the public testimony period have been accommodated. Testifier shall state his or her name, SD, that's normal. And then the language offered for consideration by the committee should be submitted via a typewritten or clearly legible handwritten paper copy or in an online form as may be available. I don't have an online form right now. We may, but definitely bring a paper copy. David.
It looks like there's a bit of a conflict in that the rule about a person only being allowed to testify once until everybody that wants to testify publicly, that would in fact constrain debate, would it not? If a person wanted to testify on different topics and not everybody had been allowed.
This is rules for delegates and alternates, not necessarily, not committee members.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. If it applied to the committee, it would. But this is public testimony.
Okay.
Craig.
Back in 2020, there was a running live document where changes were made live by the committee secretary. So we had the original, and on the other side or next to it was all the changes, or I don't remember exactly how it was, but all the proposed changes were live, and we could all access that from our screens or our laptops, or whatever. I think even people at home, if they were watching live, they could see. We have that kind of technology available to us. Can I just go around?
I would like to. I think that's extremely helpful. We're trying to get legal secretaries to be the committee secretary. So we will have all the changes live up on the screen, I expect that we will have it live up on the screen like we do with an SREC meeting. Yes. And that's the goal. Gene.
Virgil can do it. He doesn't have anything else to do that week.
I already asked Virgil. He said no. So if everyone would call him, that would be great. I'm joking. Don't call Virgil. Gene, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Gene Martin, SD30. And just for clarification on that Rule 2, where it says during a public testimony period, that is a different testimony period each day?
Yeah, we're going to set aside time. And I think, Gene, that might be you. Thank you. Okay. It wasn't. It was actually not Gene.
Everybody should probably stay on mute. Two people can't be on in the same room.
Yeah, Chuck, can you mute?
I think I am muted.
Somebody just said, I think I am muted. No, there's two Chuck Burnett's on. I don't know why.
Uh-oh.
That's it.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's not me.
Yeah.
So what were you saying about the per day?
Yeah, we're going to set aside time for public testimony each day. I had,
Whoever the host is needs to mute Chuck.
yeah. Chuck, what is that other account by you?
He just maybe logged in twice. You can do that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how I got on two accounts.
You have a phone and a laptop at the same time?
No, it says they're both muted.
Okay. So yeah, we're going to do for the permanent committee, we have about 3 hours, including public testimony time. We'll take public testimony in between as people show up and set time aside. We'll try to work it. So again, people coming from other committees can come in and try to set aside a reasonable amount of time for public debate. Keeping them to the 2-3 minute time limits makes it a lot more easy. And I think we'll just work it as it gets along, like we do with speakers at SREC meetings. Brandon.
Yes, sir. So rules for delegates and alternates on Rule 1. Considering making a motion on not tonight, obviously, but on Monday, to strike at the discretion of the chair and substitute without objection.
I was
so that
thinking about the door some.
hopefully,
when it was really heavy
get it,
rain.
that way it takes the burden off of you a little bit, but also puts
No,
everything
I
back
just
in
saw
the
it.
committee and still makes it as quick as possible.
It was only when it
hopefully.
was really hard at the at the door.
And perhaps an addition of no extension may be given unless an equal extension is given to a delegate or alternate with an opposing view, kind of like what we do in the SREC meetings, where you have to have a for and against back and forth, so we don't get too lopsided. Just some thoughts that I may make those
I'll
motions.
make you a deal. If you give me the ability to move stuff along quickly and some discretion, if I am not using that discretion properly, you can yell at me and change it during the meeting. I really, it helps with the flow of everything to have some discretion. It still says or majority vote by the committee, so it's kind of both of us, but it saves having to do a vote when it's just obvious that, okay, you got 10 seconds, 15 seconds left. Go ahead, finish up. And you just make, and it might be a rule that's not Rule 44, right?
Sure.
So it's not as contentious.
Okay.
And believe me, I don't want to lose the room, so I'm not going to be messing around with that. Dan.
So Matt, I got a quick suggestion. Although we all have the rules, the supplemental rules for the committee as well as going forth, as we discuss them here briefly, why don't you just put them up on the screen?
Because I don't know, I'm not the host of the meeting.
Well, I have Virgil do it.
Okay.
It would be a lot easier to follow every suggestion.
Are you able to do it?
He can't do it either.
I'm not the host either.
Yeah.
Michelle has to give somebody the co-host capabilities in the meeting.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Since we're not voting on it today, we can dispense with that, I think.
Amy Super's wanting in. Amy Super's wanting in on the meeting. She's been waiting.
Is Amy
for a
in the
long
committee?
time.
Yeah, Amy.
Yes.
Who is it?
Amy Super, AMIESUPER.
Got it.
Thank you.
I think Michelle's doing like 2 meetings, by the way, 2 or 3 meetings right now at the same time.
Then
All
she
right.
should have probably delegated.
Come on. We all got to do like way more than we can handle. That's what you do in politics. Okay, let's move to just discussions of proposed supplemental rules for convention, unless somebody has any other comments on the committee rules. Randy, you're muted.
Something related to the old MacGyver rule, you know, the number of fors and against. Normally it was allowed 3 for, 3 against any topic.
Yeah, we didn't do that last time. I like that. What are everybody's thoughts on that? I mean, I like it. I didn't put it in because it wasn't in their last convention, but you know, I like limiting speaking time either to 4 or against, or you know, you could do 5 minutes in the aggregate for 5 minutes against, or 10 minutes combined. You can limit 3 speakers for, 3 speakers against with a 10-minute limit. Ultimately, it's up to you guys. I didn't put it in there, but if you have a suggestion, you know, willing to hear it, and we'll vote on it at the meeting.
Let's start the bidding at 3 for and 3 against.
Well, I mean, that really doesn't make sense unless if you limit total debate to 10 minutes, unless you're limiting the time of each speaker.
Yeah, that's why I thought it wasn't necessary since we've got a 10-minute total limit.
I think I think if you want to do like 5 minutes for, 5 minutes against, and then they can split the time up, or if one speaker ends, they can use the remainder of the time. That's one way to do it. Problem is that's a little harder to keep time on, but I'm sure we can do it. But ultimately, I'm good with it, any of those options.
I would prefer leaving it open. And if we start running short on time, then we can tighten it down during the actual committee meetings.
Yeah, you absolutely should not use all 10 minutes yourself if you're speaking on a motion.
Right.
I think people will vote against whatever your motion is just out of spite. I think you can pretty much cover everything in 2 minutes. Andy.
Okay, are you ready to talk about the proposed convention supplemental rules?
Yeah.
That I had proposed?
Yeah, I included some of your suggestions in there.
Okay, so basically, as you mentioned in the email, there are a lot of non-substantive. It's just date changes, location changes. There's a couple I do want to talk to with the committee right now. Rule number 9, due to the changes with the way candidates would be, allowed to declare their candidacy. I'm looking at, I made that change to the 10 days prior, which was yesterday at midnight to complete. And those have actually been put out, who the candidates are. I don't know if we want to add those to this rule later or not, but we can, to those who have actually declared their candidacy, so everybody knows who they are.
And to specify, that's already required by Rule 41, correct?
Correct, yes.
So we're not adding a
changing
requirement
anything.
after the fact.
Correct. All we're doing here with this is just stating, we're removing the fact that they needed to have declared, and then there would be a drawing at 8 a.m. on Thursday. And I'd actually like to change that at the suggestion of our SREC Secretary, Virgil Cruz. So I'd like to change that, and I'll send an update to these, but changing that to doing it after the SREC meeting adjourns on Wednesday night. It makes it pretty easy because people will be there.
What's the reasoning?
Because, well, basically, the SREC members will be there. Everyone will be there. The secretary will be there. Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of doing it Thursday morning at 8 a.m. in the room, which is the staff room, which is where it was done before.
Okay.
We can make a show. Anyway, I'm going to put it out. We can debate it later.
Okay.
But yeah, just letting you know that that's a couple things that have come up since I put this out. The other substantive change I made was voting, and that's both in Rule 15, and I can't remember the other rule, but basically I changed it back from the modified Robert's Rules of Order, where you drop the lowest person when there's multiples, that you just go to the top two traditional runoff.
Yeah, and that was something I heard from multiple people, and I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think that was workable last time. I understand it was probably advisable, just given the extraordinary nature of the elections in that convention. But
right.
I think it was unworkable, and it made the time being really uncertain. I think it ran a little long in a lot of caucuses, and we didn't make the general session in a lot of different SD caucuses.
Right. And then the last one I had was, I originally moved the election of the SREC committee man and committee woman to the caucus for Thursday, but now I understand that's been changed back, so that needs to be changed back to Friday's caucus.
So say that one more time. You originally moved it to Thursday. Why?
Right, because it had been moved in the caucus chair's handbook.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. And it was going, and I was told on good authority, actually, from the chairman and members of the convention committee, that it had been moved to Thursday. But they've since moved it back to Friday. So that needs to be moved back. And then, of course, I removed all the congressional caucus stuff because that's not in there. I'd like to just send it up.
Criticisms. There was the criticism of leaving it on Thursday was that SREC committee members could not campaign. They're just coming into their SD caucuses and spending a lot of that time campaigning. So I get it.
Just be ready for a lot of delegates. Be ready for a lot of delegates to be upset because they may have scheduled the time they arrive based on that SREC vote. Just be warned.
That's not us. That didn't come from us.
What time
but I'm just saying,
Andy?
Yeah, I'm just saying, be
Put
ready
out
to
something early for an SD caucus. She put out a revised SD caucus packet today with the move to Friday. So
to what time?
It's just on the regular time for SD caucus, second SD caucus.
Okay. Craig.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I lifted up from before.
Okay.
Good.
Brenda. Go ahead. Rule 9, right?
No, it's on 12, number 12.
12.
D, 12D. So the last sentence, I know the last convention we had a problem because the ballots were, all the Scantrons were everywhere and they weren't stored properly. And they were like, man, it was bad. So it says the last sentence, the ballot shall be retained at, and I think we should add in, their ballot shall be securely locked up and be retained at RPT headquarters. I think they need to be locked up in a box with a lock on it, because all those, is that in the right spot? Are we talking about the right thing? I mean, because the Scantrons were everywhere. We had them everywhere and they weren't securely taken care of. I mean, how do you know the right vote for anything when they're all over the place? I think they need to be locked up.
Who's paying for all the lock boxes?
It's just a little box with a lock.
Have you seen the Scantron box?
Okay, a big
John Beckmeyer could tell you how much space that took up in our room.
Not a little thing.
There really should be lock boxes there at the RPT.
Is there?
In 22, we sealed every box and kept them there and sealed until we could get them processed. And after processing, and you're right, it's a lot.
No, but we're talking about not until they were counted, but after.
Yeah, and then we left them in there until we got ready for the next convention, which kept them through the voting year.
Yeah, I'm fine with it on a theoretical level. As long as I would lean on John and Brandon to see if that's actually feasible. But suggestion noted.
Mr. Chairman, I can tell you, when the ballots were received for counting, they were in boxes with tape seals on them, proper
Mhm.
seals, and they were put back in similar boxes with seals. They're just not locked.
Perfect.
Right. One of the things that we tried to do was to print out kind of like what you have in elections, where you have like a seal certificate that is supposed to go in the box, and we provide serialized numbered zip ties so that they could record what the serial number was on those zip ties when they locked it up, so that, you know, when it gets to the next place and is opened up to be counted, etc., then they can confirm that it was the same zip tie serial number as before. So that has been a practice that has been in place, and they've tried to do that, certainly.
And Brenda, if you wanted to reduce it to the rule, I think you'd probably do secured rather than necessarily locked. But go ahead. You're on mute, Brenda.
No, I just need to take my hand down. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate the answers.
Katie? Katie Jackson?
Yeah, I had to unmute. Katie Jackson from SD 18. Completely agree with 12D, but I think it should be secure. You know, secure and accountable. It's not hard. It's one extra step. The other thing that I saw in these rules was in Rule 8. The last paragraph needs to be struck out because that has to deal with congressional districts.
Oh, in Rule 8.
Rule 8, last paragraph.
Yep, I see that. I will take that when I send the revised ones.
Hey, it's what we do. We look after each other and go, hey, wait a minute. Another one that I had was in Rule 14. In Rule 14, it says that the SREC, anybody except for the chair and vice chair for state gets 3 minutes. Well, in the script, it says we get 5 minutes when we're in the senatorial district caucuses. So that is a discrepancy between the two. I would like that to stay 5 minutes and not just because I'm campaigning, but 3 minutes is not enough time to speak to people you have never spoken to before. So I would like to see that changed to 5 minutes.
Anybody else? Thanks. Katie, I'm sure that's going to have a lot of discussion on both sides. So I don't think that's a change we can necessarily make now, but that's one of the things we can talk about when we take the supplemental rules up on day 1.
Just putting that out there so people can start thinking about it. And did we, I hate to say it this way, but did we, quote unquote, decide that we're going to put out something official on when the SREC elections are going to be? Because right now, the only word is rumors. They said, those two theys are not talking. So, I mean, I'm not the only one in that boat. We've got 31 Senate districts, and I don't know how many people running who have been planning on everything happening on Thursday. Now it's going to happen on Friday. Which one is it?
Well, it's whatever we put in the supplemental rules, but as of now, it's Friday.
Gotcha.
Anybody else? Supplemental rules.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Becky.
Becky Green, SD 17. To follow up on what Katie was saying about the movement of the SREC election back and forth, this is not a good look for us. We need to settle on something and stop moving things around. It's making us all look incompetent and ridiculous. It was moved because of what happened at the last convention, and now we moved it back again. And I guess I'm unclear as to who is moving this around and why are they moving it around? People have had things printed up, they've made plans, they've gotten rides, and now I've got to go back and tell all my delegates, well, we're not going to do it on Thursday. Now we're going to do it on Friday. So it's becoming a huge issue. It's taking up a lot of my time and effort with my delegates. So I'm just wondering, I guess I want clarity, who's moving it and what do we do to nail it down so that we're not dealing with it and going back and forth. It's just become a major pain.
Well, first of all, I don't know. I don't know who's moving it. But as far as nailing it down, we decide when it's going to be, as we set the agenda and the supplemental rules.
And then that will be voted on and solidified at the first general meeting.
Well, yeah, we're Virgil. How do we usually do that?
Yeah, so the temporary supplemental rules go to the SREC, who will have to consider them and amend them as they want to on Wednesday afternoon of convention. And then at the first general session, the convention will approve the permanent supplemental rules of the convention. 2 years ago, the convention made no amendments, so I just slapped a different label at the top of it from temporary to permanent. But, in theory, the convention could change the rules again. So I guess at that point, right after that, you have your first SD caucus. So really, it's up in the air until the convention decides when you want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, whether the schedule changed or not, I mean, we're still having to set the schedule. So
correct. Yeah, we being the recommendations of your committee,
yeah,
the SREC recommending the temporary or approving the temporary rules, and then the convention as a whole approving the permanent rules. So it's really out of y'all's hands, except to the extent that you make a recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for what it's worth, my opinion is we need to move it back to Thursday. It's what we told everybody. It's what the delegates expect. And we need to stop messing around with it and just be done with it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Brandon.
Thank you, Chairman. Had a few things on these on the supplemental rules. Between rules 10 and 15, mostly dealing with speaking time and whatnot. And the fact that we're proposing to move from dropping the lowest vote getter to just the top two. With that in mind, that should save us a lot of time on speeches and everything. However, the rules also don't allow for any additional speeches, and especially when you get into some of these hotly contested elections where you have 4, 5, 6 people voting, I think it might be beneficial to give a minute or two to the top two, to the two going to the runoff to make their case. And you also have the fact that some of the people who were previous opponents that got dropped out, they may want to throw their support behind one of those two, and it would give them an opportunity to officially do that to the delegates. So that, along with, at least for the state chair race, I think during general session, right now we have the state chair and the vice chair timing to be at 4 minutes apiece. And I mean, all due respect and with to all of our vice chairs, current and past, we've had some really great ones, but the state chair is the one running the party and the one responsible. I kind of feel like we need to give an extra minute or two to the state chair speaking time there, just because it's a really critical position. Outside of that, and I know those are just things that I'll probably try to bring up Monday when we get to these. Outside of that, I think maybe Rule 18. This might be a non-controversial one, but right now it just says permanent chair, and I think adding the word temporary or permanent chair in Rule 18 is the one that basically says that, hey, while votes are being counted, you can do non-agenda business or speeches. So if you have a contested permanent chair election, you still have a temporary chair running it. If it's contested, they're going to be counting votes. Let them have somebody come up and speak if there's somebody available to speak. That's why I'm proposing to add temporary into Rule 18 before permanent.
Thank you, Brendan. Gene?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. A quick question related to this SREC member selection Thursday or Friday. When do the platform booklets go to print?
Virgil,
I mean-
when did you usually send them to print?
Thursday night after permanent committee finishes up, it goes to print.
Yeah, that's correct.
And was it like
Very
a
late-
10
very
o'clock
late on
deadline or
Thursday
something
night.
like that?
Very late on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the booklet that gets handed out to the delegates when they show up that has all the schedule information and where things happen and when things happen.
Oh, no, we're talking about platform and
The
platform and
convention program.
Right. So that's going to have in it the stipulated time for when the SREC members are elected. Has that already gone to print?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just wondering how much confusion will be if it gets changed, if we designate it to be on Friday like it was in previous years. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'll get the full story on what's going on with the changes and where it's coming from and what's going on.
That would be
We'll figure it out.
arrangements anyway, wouldn't it?
The what?
That
Didn't
would
hear
be
you.
arrangements in charge of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyone else? Okay. Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate you coming on just to talk this over. It'll help me get everything organized and we can at least make sure we can run through this stuff quickly. I'm going to, we get the meeting room at 11 a.m. on Monday. So we'll try to get started as close as possible to there. I know I talked to a lot of you guys. We're coming in on Sunday at 11. That still gives you the morning if you don't want to stay over Sunday night. So we'll get started at 11. We'll take up the supplemental committee rules, hopefully pass them quickly, and then move on to the supplemental convention rules as quickly as possible. My goal in all of this is just to move the discussion along and make sure everybody gets heard and make sure we get to everything. And as you see me during the general session, I like to move stuff quickly. I kind of like to get a sense of when people are receptive to new arguments, when people have heard enough, and try to move the debate along. So hopefully at the end, you feel like everything went quickly, your time was respected, and you all were heard. So I appreciate you all being on the committee. Brenda, do you have anything before we go?
Yeah, real quick question. I have that signal channel that most of us are on, just for the rules. And didn't know if anyone that's not on it would like to be on it and they could just text me.
Yeah, can you give everybody your number?
Yeah, it's
so they have it.
469.
And go ahead.
It's 469-233-3303, and I just need your phone number so I can put you on there.
Perfect. Yeah, if you're not on the Signal chat, definitely text Brenda. That'll make it a lot easier to communicate here and when we're at the convention.
Hey, Brenda. Okay, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just can I take a point
Yeah,
of
go ahead.
privilege here? Brenda, could you please send me what your proposed language was on number 12?
Sure.
And
I'll
I
send
can
it
just
to you.
throw that in there. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay, sounds good.
Matt, Steve Atwell, SD9. I just got a text message that Jay Nelson has retired from SOS. Just let you know.
Can we clap or no?
Yes, you can.
I saw that earlier on Facebook. She made the announcement.
Yep. Well, good for her. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. If there's no objection, we'll adjourn and I will see you guys on Monday. Chris? You good? All right. I will see you all on Monday. Take care.
Thank you, Chairman.
Good job. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it, Jimmy.
everybody. Bye-bye.